All right, let's talk about it. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 has been out for some weeks now, and there's a lot of controversial opinions and truths that we gotta get to the bottom of. So let's break it open here on the Tech Corner, and let's talk about the Z Fold 5 weeks later. Even though it may seem like I'm being harder on Samsung this year around, at least in the beginning I was, and I kind of came back and admitted I was wrong about a few things, because this device has been an absolute joy to use. Paired with a Samsung Galaxy Y6 Classic, the bezel is back, baby, and I'm happier than ever. And as a Note user, because once a Note user, always a Note user, the only true thing helping true Note users cope with the absence of the Note is the Z Fold. It's a possible, but it's still missing a few things to fill that void. Some people might be like, but you got the S23 Ultra with the built-in S Pen. And for some Note users, this does it. And all of us true Galaxy Note users know that this is not the Note. This is a stripped down S Ultra device with an S Pen built into it. And there's nothing wrong with that, because this device is absolutely phenomenal. Battery life is great. That is arguably the Android phone of the year. But then you have the Z Fold. This is what we are looking forward to. A device that folds, has an outrageous inner panel display, folds down into something portable and pocketable and usable, has S Pen support, but the S Pen still has yet to find its way into the device. Just a note for you, Samsung, as a Note user, letting you guys know. Let's break it down. Design and build quality. I have the Samsung.com exclusive, the blue with the nice matte black siding, which I absolutely am enjoying. This grew on me so well. We shaved off 10 grams from last year's Z Fold 4. You know, in comparison to the Z Fold 4, not much of a reduction, but in comparison to other foldables on the market, a huge reduction, because this thing is hefty and this thing feels so light in comparison, so enjoyable and so nice and compact to use. And then we flip it over to the front OLED panel. Now, on this front panel, I gotta give Samsung their props. This thing is bright, it's crisp, it's clear, it's beautiful, it's doing all of that for me. And I set my displays to the natural setting. I don't like the vivid anymore because it's not really true to life, but in the natural setting, this thing shines. In every camera comparison, there's a ton coming, you guys are gonna see. This viewfinder, or the visuals on this outer display, outshine all of the competition. Let me just be clear about that. But with that being said, I would appreciate it if this device in the front got a height reduction and got a little bit thicker, if you know what I mean. A little wide and all outside. That's just me personally of what I would love to see. But I understand why Samsung has reserves on doing that, because this is considered the main display. This is intended for you to use with one hand. This is intended for you to use with an S Pen. As I use my imaginary S Pen, the one I have is over there and I don't feel like getting up to get it. We're gonna keep this rolling. You get into here and I can tell you, I noticed the new nits. I noticed the new magic that's happening on this Samsung panel. Boy, is it phenomenally pleasing to the eye. I am enjoying this inner OLED panel so much. And yes, there is a difference from the previous model. And you guys are gonna see in my comparison video that's coming up real soon. You already know, subscribe and turn on the bell if you're smart. Let's carry on. So as far as OLED panels and displays, the only thing that I could ask for or suggest is a shorter, wider front panel. Now, hit the comment section down below and speak with your voice. Are you team narrow display, or are you team make that thing wider? Hit the comment section below, because we need to know, because the more we speak up and voice our opinions, the more they might consider it. Okay, into the next topic of discussion, performance. I don't know about you, but I know for me, that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is doing it. As far as smoothness, as far as being slightly a bit more optimized from the previous gen. You know, there's other ways where that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 didn't come in clutch for us, and we're gonna talk about that later, a little more controversy for you. But as far as performance and platform, One UI 5.1.1 is running like butter. It's so smooth, it's so close to the pure Android experience that it's not even funny. It's not even a topic of discussion or a separator anymore at this point, if I'm being honest. So if you wanna game, video edit, if you wanna do this, that, you can do it all here on the Z Fold 5, baby. No slack there. Whew. Now, let's talk about it. The controversial topic of battery life. As you may have hoped for and wished for with this switch it over to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, there are some slight improvements. But there wasn't a true improvement because the battery did not get bigger. It's slightly more optimized, but the battery didn't get bigger. We're pushing more nits. A brighter display, but the battery's still the same size, and we have the optimized chip of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So what does that mean for battery life? If you didn't like the Z Fold 4 battery, I don't know if you're gonna like the Z Fold 5's battery. Some people are doing just fine. I'm one of those people. I do just fine with my foldable batteries. Of course I want more. Of course I would love a 5,000 milliamp hour in here, Samsung. Let's be real, you know what I mean? You gotta be very mindful about your battery usage on this device. Now me, I'm chilling, I'm doing good. Like if I'm on a light use day, oh, I can pull up on the next day with a little bit of slight confidence. Slight, you get me? But not real. But if you have a heavy day, you already know what time it is. So heavy users, y'all are just the minority. Medium to light users, you know, you are the average. Again, this is Android. There are so many apps that are not properly optimized for every device. There's a million phones. How can I make my app work as optimized for every device? Man, listen, it's too much going on. It's too fragmented. You probably got an app that's sitting there draining your battery that shouldn't be, so be very selective about the apps you place on your devices. Let's be honest, Samsung wants you to use the larger, brighter display as your main display. So what is that gonna do? Drain on battery. Oh my goodness. So the battery is fair. I give it fair. Give it that medium of a rating. It's not phenomenal. It's not S23 Ultra goodness. It's fair. So let's talk about cameras. The controversial topic for me as well. A place where I like to, let's just say, encourage Samsung to do better. Boom, here we have it. The front-facing camera on the Z Fold 5. I've been going back and forth in between on this device because there are things that I want to change design-wise, but there are also things that I enjoy about what they did with this Z Fold 5. But nevertheless, there's always the cameras, and the main thing to check is dynamic range from these clouds in the rear, the super bright areas to the dark areas. How well is the image quality? As well as the skin tones. That matters, especially when you're trying to capture yourself. Will you look like yourself? Especially in this direct sunlight, there's no excuses. Boom, and here we have my favorite mode is the selfie unfolded mode, because I can see myself as clear as ever, as well as I can capture myself with the best cameras. Hold on, there's a little lint. Let me get that off. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Can't have anything obstructing the beauty that this has and can offer. So this is the main lens. This is the one. This is that money lens. So tell me, is it money or is it funny? Hit the comment section down below and let me know. And it wouldn't be a lens test without checking out that massive ultra wide. You guys can see I got the camera right there with the towel, trying to keep it nice and cool. We got the microfiber cloth on deck, so that way all visuals of all of these cameras and whatnot are at their best. But let me know, is this ultra wide at its best in the comment section below. Peace. So what I need from you guys is to get in the comment section down below, and please, Samsung Knights, put your bias on the back burner, bro. Real life, y'all be talking about Apple sheep. Y'all are worse than sheep. I don't know what type of animal is worse than a sheep as far as being just a bot and NPC, but y'all Samsung Knights really be on that. Let's be honest, where my skin tones represented right? You know what I mean? Don't just try to only say that cameras on Samsung are good when you get your shutter timing perfect, when they're not overexposing for no real reason. But outside of that, the cameras for the majority of people are pleasing. Is that a good word? Pleasing, fair results. Now for people like me who are really into cameras and really into, you know, what you can truly get out of your cameras, I will tend to have to use like pro camera mode on the Samsung device to get the camera performance that I would appreciate. But these are processing the images differently from the previous model. I don't know if it's upgrade worthy different, but to be fair, they are just fine. Now, let's talk about the most important topic, and that topic is user experience. What can I say? It's the Z Fold 5. I have a Z Fold 4 right here. I have a Z Fold 3 right here. I did not get the original Z Fold and anything before that. But from the 3 to the 4 to the 5, the improvements have been minimal, but yet noticeable. The light package of this, I appreciate. I do appreciate this about the slimmer form factor is it's slightly more pocketable to a degree, or arguably, but not really necessarily, because it's so tall. It still leaves a nice footprint in your pocket. It's still a chore to carry around, but the lighter it gets, the better that is. The reduction in the hinge, the flatter lay, you know, all of these things are the improvements that are adding to the user experience of this device. So the user experience year after year is improving, but the question is, has it improved enough? You know, I get it. You can't push these phones to be massively improved year after year. They're just fine tuning. And they've been fine tuning for a while now because this hinge changes every year. When will Samsung get the hinge right? Hopefully it's this time. When I open this device and I use this device and I use this OLED panel, it's nothing but smiles, giggles, and joy. When I close it and I'm on here, again, when I was outside in the sunlight and I could see how beautiful and crisp it was in comparison to other devices, had a smile on my face. But when I go to type and swipe type and so forth and have a few errors here and there, I'm not as happy. But yes, it's easier to palm for the majority of hands. I've seen some people who have bigger hands confirm that they're okay with it being this slim. Then there's other people who agree with me and think that we need a wider, shorter design form factor for this device. All in all, when it comes to the user experience of the Z Fold 5, it's not that far from the Z Fold 4. So if you're a Z Fold 4 user, you know what's going on. If you have a Z Fold 3, it's starting to be a leap from the Z Fold 3 as far as in refinements and fine tuning that's extremely noticeable. I got a comparison video amongst all 3 of these folds coming. You already know, subscribe and turn on the bell. But when I consider the user experience of the Z Fold 5 and I look at it all in all, pound for pound, in the foldable market, I have to be honest, it's the most optimized, it's the most developed. It is the king of the foldables.
It was always me versus me, it was never me versus you. Misunderstood, get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes, it's understood. It was always me versus me, it was never me versus you. And now I'm good, wake up and I do my part, wake up and I do my job, just how I should. It was always me versus me, it was never me versus you. Misunderstood, get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes, that's understood. It was always me versus me, it was never me versus you. And